Hi students, in previous session we have discussed about features of Python and other important concepts we have discussed. So those have missed previous 1-2 sessions. You can see the video in YouTube, or else you can talk to online team. They will send you the link to your mail ID so that you can watch the previous session like what I've told you can watch. So today we are going to discuss about Python flavors and features we are going to discuss. Then after that we'll see what are the applications we can develop in Python. And after that we'll see Python installation and data types. Like we are going to see all these one by one we are going to see. And as I told before, like this core and advanced Python it will take 2 months. Core and advanced Python is going to take 2 months, and within 2 months we are going to discuss many chapters. Like we'll discuss about Python features, then installation, data types, and then we'll discuss about. See, for new students, I'm repeating this. So after data types, we'll discuss about a number system, then string handling, and then we are going to discuss about input function, conversion functions, operators, if condition examples, for loop examples, while loop examples, and we are going to discuss about collection data types, then string manipulations, regular expressions, functions, then exception handling, file handling, modules and packages. All these we are going to discuss. And after that, advanced Python will start. In advanced Python, we are going to discuss about object-oriented programming. And after that, we'll see how to develop GUI applications or desktop applications, like creating the form and placing the controls, like labels, text boxes, buttons, and other controls, writing the code. All these we'll discuss in desktop applications. And we'll use the desktop applications to integrate with the database. So connecting with MySQL, SQL Server, then other databases. And then we are going to discuss about other chapters like internet and email, multi-threading, networking, then database programming, PDBC, Python database connectivity, web scraping, like all these we'll discuss. And here Python latest version is, so here I'm typing python.org. So this will show the latest version here. So here you can see downloads. So in downloads it is showing Python 3.9.7. So this is the latest version of Python. So here we are going to discuss about Python 3.7 features, 3.8 features, 3.9 features with examples. So with examples, we are going to discuss all these. And then we'll discuss about Python. We'll be discussing about like Python interview question and answers, certification question and answers. And then we are going to discuss about, we'll be discussing about advanced libraries, advanced modules, like pandas, numpy, then matplotlib, cbon, like all these are there. Like with examples, we are going to see all these in the last classes. Okay, so these are the concepts. If you want to know clearly, like what all we are going to discuss, then like in DurgaSoft site, like where it will show the batch schedule. So 8 to 9, sorry, 7 to 8, Python plus DJANGO, then Wilson is there. So there, if you click in website in the courses list, when you click on Python plus DJANGO Wilson, then it will show the course details, like what all we are going to discuss. Completely it is given there. You can check there. Okay. And every day I'm going to send you the recorded session. Like every day session is recorded, and I will send you the day-wise notes also. Here you can see chapters wise or day-wise notes is there here. Here you can see on the screen. Like here you can see the folders are there, and Word files and Notepad files are also there. Like all these notes, I'm going to send to your mail IDs. To your mail IDs, I'm going to send here. So today we are going to discuss about flavors of Python we are going to discuss. So before that, here you can see Python is a powerful language. Okay, it is a language, and it is used for it is a general purpose programming language. So Python is used for developing any application. It is not for one category of applications. So it is for any type of application. It can be Windows application, or it can be website, or it can be scientific application, or networking application, or games or animation softwares we can develop using Python. So Python is developed by Guido van Rossum in the year 1989. It is developed. Okay, and it is released for public in the year 1991. In 1991, it is developed. No, I'm not repeating. Chitibab, I'm not repeating. I'm just telling only one, two lines. Today we'll discuss about flavors of Python, and other features we'll discuss. For new students are there now. For new students, I'm just giving information. Okay, only this line. I will continue with other concepts. Okay. So here it is released in the year 1991. It is released for public. So it is introduced as it is introduced as an internal project for Mathematical Research Institute called CWI, located in Netherlands. So after that, in 1991, it is released for public, and IT companies they can use it. Other companies they can use Python, and they can develop applications or projects. All these they can do it. Okay. And here when we say Python, Python is used for Python software, or Python language is used for mathematical and numerical calculations, and Python is used for automation, and Python is used to handle big data, large amount of data related to websites or applications. And any application we can develop using Python, any software we can develop using Python. Okay, and this Python anyone can learn. Like those are not having any knowledge about programming. Okay, and those who are new to programming, and those who don't know any basics of C language, they can start with Python. So it is a beginner's language. So students, today we are going to discuss about the flavors of Python. So in Python software, in Python language, we can see different flavors. We can see different implementations. Implementation also we can say flavors or implementations. So here we can see C Python, J Python or Jython, Iron Python, Ruby Python, then Anaconda Python, Stackless Python, like all these are there. Okay. So here, like for example, when you work with C language, some of you may be knowing it. So in C language also we can see flavors. Like we can see Turbo C is there, ANSI C is there, Borland C is there, like all these are there. Like the students will be learning Turbo C. So Turbo is the name of the compiler. Okay. So here also we can see the flavors. Like some students may say, like we heard only Python. Like today you are saying C Python, Jython. I will tell what is the use of all these. Okay. So here when we say C Python, it is developed using both C and Python here. So using C and Python, it is developed here. Okay, so it is having C libraries, C header files, and it is having Python files or Python modules are there. Python modules means Python programs. Python programs will be existing. So C Python is default and most widely used implementation of the language. So if a student is learning Python, okay, so in Amirpet, or if a student is learning Python from me or else from other trainer, okay, so if student is learning Python, it means that a student is going to learn C Python. It is default. It is default, and it is most widely used implementation of the language. Like if anybody is working with Python, it means that they are working with what? C Python. Okay, so C Python is compiled and interpreted. Yesterday we have discussed this. C Python, yesterday I have told Python. C Python is compiled and it is interpreted. Okay, and it is developed by Guido van Rossum. In the beginning I have told no, Python is developed by Guido van Rossum. So here C Python is developed by Guido van Rossum. So yesterday I have told about this. Yesterday I've told about this. So C Python is compiled and it is interpreted. Here you can see this. Here Python program is there. If you write a Python program, so in Python you can see compiler is there. Python compiler. So Python compiler will use a bytecode. Okay, bytecode means we'll call it as a middle level language, or we'll call it as intermediate code, or bytecode or assembly language. Bytecode means not binary code, not zeros and ones. Okay, Python program is high level language. So it is in English. We can read, write, and understand. All the programming languages are high level languages only. Okay, so this program will means compiler will take this program and it will use bytecode. So bytecode is sent to PVM, Python Virtual Machine, and this PVM will interpret the bytecode and it will give a native code or executable code. So native code or executable code or binary code or machine code, all these are same. So native code or machine code means a low level language. Machine code will say. Okay. So here high level language is converted to bytecode. Bytecode means middle level language. Middle level language is converted to low level language. So here you can see compilation and here you can see interpretation. Python program is compiled and it gives bytecode. Bytecode is interpreted by PVM and it will give a native code or executable code it will give. So yesterday I have told this, like a compiler will convert the whole program in a single shot. It will convert the whole program to low level or middle level. Okay, and interpreter will translates converts line by line to machine code or executable code. So yesterday I've told one thing, that is like students may be having doubt, like what is this Python is it compiled or interpreted? Okay, so the trainers who teach old versions of Python, so they will say that the Python has interpreter, it works slow. But the trainers who teach latest versions of Python, they will say that Python is compiled and it is interpreted. Program is compiled and it gives bytecode. Bytecode is interpreted by PVM and then it will give a native code or executable code. So to know very clearly, yesterday I've told this. So you can, students can watch yesterday's video. Otherwise, in YouTube it is available. Otherwise, you can talk to online team. They will send you the link. You can watch all these, what all I've told in yesterday class. And here, so here when you see the software here, so in my system, Python is installed in D drive. So this is the folder, Python folder. Python 3932 means 3.9.7 and it is 32-bit. So Python software is available in 2 bits, 32-bit and 64-bit. So I'm using 32-bit Python software. So I'm using a Windows 10 Pro, Windows 10 Professional, and it is a 64-bit. Operating system is 64-bit, and Python is 32-bit. I will tell what is the difference between 32-bit, 64-bit. In next sessions, we are going to discuss about bit. Now here you can see, here folders are there, and here you can see include is there. So in include you can see C Python. So in C Python you can see header files. So we all know in C, C++, header files will be there. In header files, functions will be there. Here you can see C Python, and here you can see all the header files are there. So C language header files are working here. So here again subfolders are there, and here you can see the other options. So here you can see Python files are existing here. Here Python files are there in lib. Okay, so to know like which software we are using, how it is working here. So I'll show you one example, only just to know. So here command prompt. So here I'll say D drive, and here I'll say virtual env. So my env6 is given. So this virtual environment will use in DJANGO. Okay. So I'm just showing you like how what version we are using, what flavor we are using. So so here I just want to show like which flavor we are using here.
Our virtual spelling is different, sir.
Okay, okay, sorry. So I didn't observe, sorry for this. Virtual, okay, here I'll execute. Before it is correct only. Sorry, I didn't observe, sorry. So in D drive, I'll give like this, virtual env, then my env6. So to show like which flavor I'm using, I'm just executing. Here you can see virtual environment C Python. Here you can see C Python 3.9.6. Like the latest version is 3.9.7. It is using 3.9.6. So here I just want to confirm like what flavor we are using, because when I say like we have Python, it means nothing but C Python. Like students may not believe. Okay, that's why I'm showing you like what the software we are using, what which language we are using. That's why I'm showing you this. Only just for confirmation. So like students, those who join for Python, uh, just now I've shown you like what we are using. And in DJANGO also, we are going to use C Python only. Python means C Python we are going to use. Okay, executed. Like this we can check. And here we'll see the other flavors here. So first one is C Python, and next one is Jython or JPython is there. So it is used to develop Java applications, and it works with JVM, Java Virtual Machine. So why we should use Jython or JPython is it is like a combination. It is like a combination here. So in Java applications, if you want to use a Python code, okay, then we can use this one. Okay, if you are working only with one particular language, no need of using all these. This flavor is not required. Okay, so like students may be having doubt why we should use Python in Java application. Okay, so when you take Python, Python is used for mathematical and numerical calculations. Python is used for automation. Python is used to handle data, big data related to websites or applications. And any software can be developed using Python. So Python has got its own features. Okay, for some calculations or from automation. So if you want to use Python programs in Java applications, then we can use Jython or JPython. We can use it. That possibility is there here. Okay, and here Iron Python is there. It is used for .NET applications. So if you are developing C Sharp applications in .NET applications, if you want to use Python code, then by using Iron Python, it is done. It is possible. Okay, so whenever you want to go for combinations, then we can use these options. And here you can see py is given here. So we'll call it as Python package index. We are going to call this Python package index. So here Python software foundation is there. Like as I told before, Python is developed by Python is developed by Guido van Rossum. So Guido van Rossum is the father of Python. So now here Python software is maintained by Python community or Python software foundation. Okay. So while working with this Python community or while working with this Python software foundation, whatever packages developed by Python community, we can download and we can install Python packages, and we can use it while developing the applications or while developing applications or projects. We can do it. Okay. So here when we say package in Python, it is the collection of modules. Python is a collection of modules. Modules means Python files or Python programs. Okay. And like in Java, when we say package, it is a collection of classes and interfaces. Even in .NET also same. It is the package is a collection of classes and interfaces. Okay. In C language, we are saying header files. So header files contains functions. So in Python, package is the collection of modules. So module can have variables, functions, then properties, classes. All these can be there. Python program can have anything. Python program or module can have variables, functions, classes. All these can be there. And here you can see Ruby Python is there here. Okay, so Ruby Python is also the combination. So here when we say Ruby Python, here we can Ruby on Rails is there. Ruby on Rails is the server-side technology used for developing websites. So whenever you want to develop websites, we can use a Ruby on Rails we can use. So in Ruby on Rails, if you are developing in Ruby on Rails, if you are developing websites here. In that website, if you want to use a Python code, if you want to use Python objects or Python functions, like Python programs, if you want to use, then we have to use this flavor. We have to download, and then we have to use this. So here I'm explaining about like a server side technology. I'm telling about websites, all this. So here I want to give some explanation about web technologies. Like some of you may be knowing all these what we are discussing here. Like but for new students, like those are new to these computer courses, so for them it will be useful. Only few things we are going to discuss here. So here, while working with websites in internet, in world wide web, we can see many websites in internet. Like we can say millions of or lakhs of websites will be there in internet. Okay. And like in internet, when we see the websites, like thousands of servers are connected to internet. Okay, so thousands of servers. Like in every server, some websites will be there. Okay, and here when we work with websites in internet, we'll say client system and server system is there. Okay, while working with websites. In client system, we can see browser, and here we can see web server is there here. Web server is there. Okay, so here when we say browser is an application. It is an application used to open the websites. And in a server system, web server is there. So web server is a software or an application used to store and to run the websites. So in the server system, web server is required. Okay, so web server can store and run the websites. Like as I said before, in internet, thousands of servers are connected to internet. In every server, web server will be there. So it will store and run the websites. Here for when we say about for Java websites, like a Tomcat web server is used. And for Microsoft .NET websites, IIS web server is used, Internet Information Services. And for PHP websites, like Apache web server is used, Apache web server. Okay, and for this DJANGO websites, DJANGO development server is there. DJANGO development web server is used. In DJANGO also we are going to use web server. So depends on the languages we are using, depends on the technologies we are using, different web servers are used. Okay, and here while working with websites, here we can see website is the collection of web pages. Website is also an application. It is an application. Okay, so in websites we can create two types of pages, like static pages, and we can create dynamic pages we can create. Okay, so website can have only static pages, it can have only dynamic pages, or it can have both. Both static and dynamic pages will be there. So pages we can call as files. Website is an application. Pages will call as files. Now here static pages means HTML pages or HTML files are static pages, or we can say read-only pages. So read-only pages means we can read the information in the site and we'll close it. Okay, so many times in a news portal and in other websites, we'll see the content. We'll read the information and then we'll close it. So we'll not log in, we'll not register. All these we are not going to do it. Okay, so here when we are working with HTML pages, so HTML pages or HTML files, they are controlled or managed by the browser. Browser can manage. So manage means we can move from one page to another page in the website, and we can see the other contents in the pages, in other pages in the website. And whenever you want to display same information to all the users accessing the website, Then we can use HTML pages. Like whatever content which is common to all the users accessing the website, we can use HTML pages. So HTML pages examples are like a home page or index page, then about us page, contact us page, sitemap, which contains the information about the site. Then in all these, we can use HTML pages. I have told only 3-4 examples. Okay, but for other pages also HTML we can use it. Okay, so when we say about HTML, HTML is client side, or we can say front end. Okay, so while developing websites, we'll say client side, server side, or we can say front end, back end. All these words we are using. So HTML is a client side, works in browser. HTML works in browser. Okay, so along with HTML, we can use other client side technologies or other front end technologies we can use, like JavaScript, then CSS, cascading style sheet, then jQuery and Bootstrap, then DOM, document object model. All these we can use. So if HTML page is there, or if HTML file is there, then we can use all these. Like along with HTML, we can use JavaScript, CSS, jQuery, Bootstrap, DOM. All these we are going to use. Okay, so all these are client side. All these works in browser, and all these are mainly used for designing. So whenever you want to do designing of the pages, okay, if you want to create like rich websites, or if you want to give grand look for the pages in the website, so if you want to create more attractive and interactive pages, then we can use all these. All these are used. So in HTML, we can use all these. Okay. So about HTML, JavaScript, CSS, jQuery, Bootstrap, DOM, we are going to discuss in DJANGO classes. In Python, for 2 months, students will learn programming, many chapters. After 2 months, when DJANGO starts, then students can learn HTML and other concepts the students will learn. In DJANGO classes, I'm going to tell how to use HTML, JavaScript, CSS, jQuery, Bootstrap, DOM, how to use all these in DJANGO we are going to discuss. Okay, so those who are not good in UI technologies or all these front end or client side technologies. So I will be sending you the videos. I will send you the videos to your mail ID. UI videos are there. Okay. So UI videos notes I'll send to your mail ID so that you can watch and you can learn and you can be perfect in all this. And in DJANGO classes, I'll tell how to use HTML in DJANGO, JavaScript, CSS, jQuery, Bootstrap, DOM in DJANGO, like because these are for designing. So for designing we have to use UI technologies or front end or client side technologies we have to use. Okay, and here dynamic pages are there. So dynamic pages are controlled or managed by the dynamic pages are controlled or managed by the web server in the server system. So in a server system, web server is there, as I told before. Okay, so they are controlled or managed by the web server in the server system. So in dynamic pages, from user to user, information will change. So it won't be the same to all the users accessing the. It won't be the same information to all the users accessing the information. Okay. So dynamic pages examples are login page, then a registration page, a change password, password recovery. All these comes under dynamic pages. So dynamic pages means we are getting data from the server, because like for example, if you take Google Mail, if you take Gmail, okay. So in Gmail, when we type like any website, any account, if you open, like if I give this, So here if I open any account, okay, so here you can see quick launch bar is there with hyperlinks, and here you can see the tabs here, primary, social, promotions, all these are there, and here you can see the mails what I've received. Like in Gmail or Google Mail, millions of users will be there at a time. Like thousands of users or lakhs of users may use it. Okay, but when I connect it with my account to Gmail, then it will show only my emails in inbox. Okay, so whatever you mails we are seeing here, so it is whatever emails we are seeing here, it is called as dynamic content. Okay, so it is showing only my emails in my account. Okay, like for likewise for every user, the it will show related information. So this is dynamic content because this we are getting from the server. We are getting this information. Only here I'm just showing like what are the contents that I'm like here. You can see the contents here, dynamic page example I'm giving here. Okay, so if you want to create a dynamic pages, then we have to use backend technologies or server side technologies we have to use. Like here you can see PHP, then ASP, JSP servlets is there. Okay, and here we can see ASP.NET, ASP.NET MVC, and here we can see DJANGO, Ruby, and Node.js. All these comes under server side. All these comes under server side technologies here. Okay, backend technologies like PHP and ASP means they are they are not popular now. So we can say outdated. JSP servlets is used in Java. ASP.NET, ASP.NET MVC is in .NET. So DJANGO means in Python. So Ruby on Rails is there, Node.js is there. So to create dynamic pages, you have to learn only one server-side technology. Many are listed here. So you can learn any one server-side technology you can learn. No need to learn many. Client-side technologies, front-end technologies or UI technologies, like all you should know, like all. Okay, like HTML, JavaScript, CSS, jQuery, Bootstrap, DOM, all you have to learn because they are used in designing. But here, server-side technologies or backend technologies are used for coding. For writing the code, it is used. Okay, so here many are listed here. Out of all the listed server-side technologies, you can learn DJANGO. DJANGO you can learn because it is Python based. Okay, so as I told before, so DJANGO is a framework. DJANGO is a framework, and it is completely developed in Python. So to learn DJANGO, students should finish Python first, core and advanced Python. After that, students can learn DJANGO. Okay, so in DJANGO, in this backend framework, in this backend technology or backend framework, so we can use client-side technologies for designing the pages. For designing, we are going to use it. Okay, so here students may be having doubt like what is the difference between static and dynamic pages. Here I've told major differences I've told now, but we'll see one or two differences. So while working with websites in internet, so we can see in the internet, websites works with HTTP or HTTPS protocol. Like for example, if I open this site here, so if I open durgasoft.com, if I open this website here, so here you can see it is giving as HTTP. So HTTP it is giving here. Okay, and here you can see not secure it is showing. So HTTP means by default security will not be there here. And if you are working with HTTP Gmail, it is showing HTTPS. And here you can see log symbol is there. Here the information is secured. So when you work with websites and internet, so they may work with HTTP, or they may work with HTTPS protocol here. So they may work with HTTP or they may work with HTTPS protocol. So HTTP means Hypertext Transfer Protocol, and S means secured. So HTTP protocol is 40 years old. Since 40 years we are using HTTP protocol we are using. Okay. So HTTPS is also there. By default, whatever information we are sending or transferring, it is secured. In HTTP protocol, we have to write programs. We have to write code for providing the security. Okay, so that we are going to use it. So if you take HTTP or HTTPS, they are called as stateless protocols. They are called as stateless. So stateless means they cannot remember the values given in the pages in the website, and they cannot remember the pages opened in the website. HTTP or HTTPS cannot maintain state, cannot maintain information. So they cannot remember the values given in the web pages. They cannot remember the values given in website, or else they cannot remember the pages opened in the website, like website addresses. So it cannot maintain history. Okay. So maintaining history in browser is a separate mechanism. So that is there. Okay. So if it is not maintaining data, if it is not remembering the pages, then students may have doubt. Then why we are using HTTP or HTTPS? So they are called as communication protocols. They are communication protocols used to transfer the data in network. So whenever you want to transfer the data in network, then we can use HTTP or HTTPS can be used. Okay. So here to maintain web pages values, or to maintain website information, or to maintain the data. So in HTML pages and in dynamic pages, we can do that. So using HTML pages, if I want to maintain information, if I want to maintain the data of web pages or website, anything, so we can do that. We can maintain web pages information or website information in the browser, or else in the client system using HTML pages. Okay. So when we do that, when we are doing that, then what will happen is when we store information in browser or else in the client system, then information is not secured, and we can store limited data. Accessing the data is slow. Okay. So when you maintain web pages values or website information in the server, so when you store those values in the server, then the information is safe, or the information is secured. So information is secured. So while working with the confidential data, while working with sensitive data like passwords, then account numbers, credit card numbers, or debit card number or PIN number, these are confidential. So whenever we are working with confidential data or sensitive data, then if it is stored in the server, like rather than storing in a client system, if it is stored in the server, then we can say that it is in if it is in server, then it is secured. Then we can secure the data from hackers, middleman attacks, data tampering. All these will not be there. And in a server, when the data is stored, we can store a large amount of data, and accessing the data is fast. Okay, with dynamic pages, all these uses or all these advantages are there. Okay, and here while working with these static and dynamic pages, and here one more difference is there. So with the dynamic pages, we can integrate the web pages with the database. So if you want to connect web pages with SQLite database, MySQL or SQL Server or Oracle database, then we can do that. So if you want to send data to server, or if you want to send data to database, and if you want to access them, then by using dynamic pages, we can do it. Okay, so in DJANGO, you are going to use client-side technologies, and DJANGO also you are going to use for sending data to server, accessing the data, and to send to data to database tables, accessing. Then DJANGO is used. So what all students, what all have told now related to the all these basics, all this is related to Ruby Python here. To explain about this, I've told about many other things also. So Ruby Python means it is used by the web developers working on Ruby on Rails. Ruby on Rails is a server-side technology used for creating dynamic web pages or dynamic sites. So in that website, if you want to use Python programs or code, then Ruby Python is used. And here you can see Anaconda Python is there. So Anaconda Python means it is used by the it is used by the people working on data science. Okay, Anaconda Python, this flavor is used in data science. It is used. Okay, so in data science, they'll take a large volume of data, and they will process it or analyze the data, and they'll generate reports in the required formats. For that, that flavor is used. So those who are working on data science, they will download this and they'll use it. And next one is Stackless Python is there. It is used to do multiple activities at a time in the application. So whenever you want two or three tasks in the application, then we can use Stackless Python. We can use it. It is done. Stackless Python, we can use it. So in our classes, we are not going to use this flavor because in advanced Python, multi-threading chapter is there. So when we use with the multi-threading, we can do multiple tasks at a time. That possibility is there. Okay. So when we are doing multiple tasks here, multi-threading, when we use multi-threading programs in Python application. Okay, when we use multi-threading programs in Python application, then it can do multiple tasks. So we are not going to use this flavor. Okay, students, here you can see many flavors we have discussed. So in Python, default flavor or default implementation is C Python. C Python is there. Okay, students, that's all for today. So today I've told about a few things related to Python, DJANGO, client-side technologies, server-side technologies. All those we have discussed. And in next class, we are going to discuss about important features are there. Python features, then applications, what all we can develop. Like in features, we can see easy to learn and use expressive language, cross-platform language, free open source redistribution, object-oriented programming, memory management. All these important features are there. Okay. And after that, we are going to see what are the applications that we can develop in Python. All these will see. Okay. So I'm stopping now. And those who are interested to continue the classes, please talk to online team and register for the course. And then I'll send you the recorded videos, like a session, the recordings I'll send, notes also I'll send to your mail IDs. Okay, students?
Sir,
Yeah, yes.
sir, one doubt, sir. If in a project more than one flavor of Python is to be used, so they have to individually install each of them, sir.
Yes, yes. When we install Python, we'll get C Python only. That is default. But if you want to go for a combination, like Java with Python, .NET with Python, because both should work, like
Yes.
only in Python, if I in Java, if I write Python, that code also should work. That's why we'll go with flavors. so that
So,
both the code will, yeah.
so they are installed by default, sir, or separately for
No,
every
no,
flavor we have
no.
to install it?
Yeah, separately we have to install. Now I said a Ruby Python, we have to install. Anaconda Python is there, we have to install. We have to install. By default, will not get. Default will get is C Python only. Python means C Python will get. Other we have to install separately. It depends on the
Okay.
requirement.
Okay, sir. Thank you.
Okay. Okay, students. Any doubts you can ask me. Like in demos, interaction I'm not doing, but when I start with Python data types and all, interaction will be there. I will ask questions to the students. The students can ask if whatever doubts they have, they can ask me while class is going on. I will give assignments. I will check the assignments. All these will be there. Okay, students. Tomorrow we'll continue.